with my feet dangling over the edge, toes disturbing the stillness of the water. He hadn't left a note, and I was sure he'd come back any minute. I wanted to be there when he did. The next Wednesday, his letter came with no return address. "Gloria, I can't be who you need me to be," it read. "I have to see if I can walk off the war. Tell the kids I'm sorry. Frank." After that, I stopped waiting for him. We all did. It was easier that way. 1. June 1967. When God created the world, he only afforded Michigan just so many good weather days. He caused the bookends of the year to be winter and the months between to be warm enough for the earth to almost thaw before it was to freeze solid once again. And somehow, in his infinite wisdom, he had chosen to call it good. In the deepest of winter, I often questioned the soundness of mind that made my ancestors think that Michigan was a good and fine place to settle. But it was in spring, when the whole world came back alive and I forgot the cold, that I swore to never leave my home state. Leaves turned the forests back to green, and flowers speckled bright red and yellow and orange across the lawns and fields. Purple lilacs bloomed on the bush below my bedroom window, smelling like heaven itself. Finches molted tawny feathers to show off their brilliant goldenrod. Robins returned with their trilling song, and just-hatched chicks peeped from their nests, discarding pretty blue shells on the ground. Every year it caught me by surprise, the return of life to Fort Colson. But by June I'd fallen into the routine of longer days and leaving my jacket at home, letting the sun warm my bare arms. I certainly would have liked to enjoy the sunshine. Instead, I stood looking out the big window of Bernie's diner, dripping wash rag in hand, wishing the view was of something other than the 5 and dime across the street. It was the perfect day for sitting on a dock, dipping my toes in the waters of Chippewa Lake. Old Chip, that was what my brothers and I called it, where we all learned how to swim and row a canoe and catch fish. Growing up without Frank around hadn't been a walk in the park, but having a mother who was unafraid of getting muddy and hooking a worm on the line made it a little bit easier, especially for my brothers. The sound of clattering pots or pans from the kitchen snapped my attention back to my job. I wrung the extra water from my rag and scrubbed down the tabletops, wiping away the breakfast crumbs to make way for the lunch plates. A couple of girls I knew from high school walked along the sidewalk past the diner window, wearing mini dresses and bug-eyed sunglasses that seemed all the rage that year. Using my knuckle, I pushed up my plastic-framed glasses and hoped they wouldn't notice me. Bernie's dress code only allowed white button-up shirts and slacks, no jeans. On my own, I was a certifiable L7 square. The uniform didn't help matters at all. The girls looked in through the window. Sally Gaines with the perfectly coiffed auburn bouffant, and Caroline Mann with her diamond engagement ring sparkling in the sunshine. Sally's mouth broke into an impossibly perfect smile, and she waved, her fingers wiggling next to her face. I knew that it was not meant for me. As far as girls like Sally and Caroline were concerned, I was less than invisible. I didn't even exist. Turning, I saw my brother behind the counter, lowering a crate of freshly washed glasses to rest beside the Coca-Cola fountain. The glasses clinked together, but delicately, sounding just a little bit like chimes. "You have an admirer," I said, stepping away from the window. "Great," he said, thick sarcasm in his voice. Not looking up at the girls, he took one of the glasses and put it under the fountain, pulling half a glass of pop for himself. "They're good tippers, at least." "For you." I watched him take a few drinks of the Coke before moving on to setting the tables with silverware wrapped in paper napkins. "I don't have the advantage of flirting with them." "You've got a point," he said. "I am charming." "And I'm a nerd." "Nah, you're peachy keen." "Well, thanks." I looked back to where the girls had stood. They were already gone. "I have my meeting today," Mike said, finishing off the last of his pop. "The one I told you about?" "When?" "After lunch. Bernie told me I could leave a little early." "Did you tell him what it's about?" "No."